Okay, y'all, just drop whatever you're doing and turn up your radio, 'cause it's time for BodyLove. Here's what happened last time.
And starting right now, things are gonna be different.
What do you mean? What things?
I mean everything.
You married my daughter because she told you that she was pregnant with your child. Would you have married her if she told you that baby's daddy was somebody else?
Who you calling?
I'm calling my best friend, Miss Vanessa Love. I have a few things I'd like to say to her.
Well, call her at BodyLove because that's where I just left her.
What's she doing at the salon this late at night?
She was cornered in there by her daughter, who was giving her a piece of her mind, and it's about time she did.
No answer.
Hang up and try again.
She's probably gone home by now.
Roz, she's still there. Believe me. If she's sitting down with Maya to explain to her how come your husband was her father, they're gonna be there a while. You know it's going to take Vanessa at least an hour just to list all the ways she's lied to everybody and cheated on her best friend.
Okay, Fidelia, that's going too far.
Hey, I'm just telling it
and
like
Vanessa
it is.
And I have been best friends for most of our lives. And in all that time, whenever I have needed her, she's been there for me. There's got to be some other explanation for this. And I'm letting you get me worked up about this when I don't have any of the facts. And I can't believe I was even listening to you, saying that about someone that is like a sister to me.
Would a sister sleep with your husband, have a baby for him, and then lie about it for years and years?
That's it. Out. Go home now.
Fine. Talk to Vanessa yourself. You'll see.
That is exactly what I'm going to do. There are always at least two sides to every story, and I mean to hear all of them. First thing tomorrow, I'm going to see if I can't get out of this recovery lodge once and for all and finally go home. Then, Vanessa and I can talk about all this face to face.
So, what are you trying to say, Mabel?
Sonny, I know this may be hard to take, and I wanted you to hear it from me before you picked it up from somebody else. And I wanted to be with you so you didn't, so it didn't just send you off on another drinking binge.
I know all that, but you're saying there's finally proof? I mean, did Vanessa tell you that Maya's daddy
She
was...
didn't tell me right out, but it's finally all come together. It was good that you married my daughter when she got pregnant. However, the daddy of that baby was Miles.
Tell you the truth, Mabel, I guess deep down I've always known that. When I first laid eyes on Maya, she was such a beautiful baby, and somehow I just knew she wasn't mine.
But you never told Vanessa what you thought.
Guess I didn't want people to think I'd let Vanessa trick me into getting married just to cover up how but looking back on it, I think I let it eat away at me instead. Sometimes I'd get to thinking about how I'd married a woman just for the sake of some other man's baby, and man, that's when I really get to craving a drink.
Lord have mercy. So this is what started you to drinking in the first place. I never would have thought
I was drinking before that, Mama Mabel. I'd already had my accident and lost my scholarship. It was, not a good time. I just wish I'd known then what I know now.
What do you know now?
Well, at the AA meetings, I've been learning about depression. That's what was going on with me back then. See, I was depressed and tried to make it better with alcohol, which is about the worst thing you can ever do for a depression.
Yeah, well, I hear people on TV talking about this depression and being depressed, but that's just one of those things people talk about. I mean, there's really no such thing.
Yeah, well, that's what I used to think.
Well, if you ask me, they're just being weak and lazy, laying around feeling sorry for themselves.
It's not always like that. Some folks, when they get depressed, they get pains in their neck or in their back, or they just start getting kind of mean, like they're going around mad at the world all the time, and there's something really wrong with them and they need help.
Well, you can believe that if you want to. I was trying to tell you something serious about Maya.
I think you did. Because it just hit me. That's the way Maya's been acting. Here, turn the van around.
What?
I want to go back to BodyLove and tell Maya what's really eating at her. This is going to be the worst time of her life. And the last thing she needs
The last thing she needs is you filling her head up with a lot of garbage about being depressed. Now, I'm taking you home with me like we said in the first place, and that's just how it's gonna be.
I know I lied to you, Maya, and I know you're really mad at me right now, but I'm still your mother, and you just can't...
Can't just what? Can't just tell you that I don't want to keep living the lie?
No, I mean, I know some things will never be the same,
Nothing is ever going to be the same. My whole world has come crashing down around me, Mama. Don't you see that? I don't even want to be around you anymore.
But what will... I mean...
I've practically raised TJ for you. I've cooked half the meals in our house since I was old enough to see the top of the stove. I've done all the grocery shopping and spent every afternoon for years getting Saul through his homework. I've lived my life doing everything you should have been doing. And I'm just telling you, I'm through. I'm leaving here and I'm not going home.
Where are you gonna go?
You heard what Fidelia said about moving in with her? That sounds like a pretty good idea.
Stay tuned for more Body Love right after this. And now, back to Body Love. Just a minute.
Good morning, Miss Rosaline.
Hello, Carlos. Come on in.
Look at the clear blue sky. And the trees are full of birds. Very odd this time of year.
Well, it's been a strange year.
I would expect you to be much happier, Miss Rosaline. I understand that today you leave Home Lodge and begin your new life.
It's true. Doctor says I can do the rest of my recovering at home, and I can't wait to get there.
Won't you miss this place even a little?
The only part of this place I'll miss, Carlos, is you. You've been just wonderful.
You're flirting. A very healthy sign.
What? Oh, no. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that, Carlos. I mean, not that you're not... Well, I mean, if I was ready to start thinking about...
I understand. Let's talk about your new regimen, all right?
Yes, let's change the subject.
Okay. You have some promises to make to me. First, you must promise to keep all your doctor's appointments, because soon you will feel so good, you may be tempted to think you don't need checkups. Yes?
Oh, yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It will be very important that you take all your medications on time exactly as your doctor prescribed. If you don't, you might lose the function of your new kidney or your body rejecting it entirely. And you don't want that, do you?
No, I don't want that.
And finally, be sure you follow closely everything in your diet book. Now that you have a working kidney, you can eat a lot of things that you couldn't have before. But you must still restrict your diet to foods with a low fat content and no added salts.
Yeah, I guess there's always something.
It will be alright. Not being able to eat added salts, well, it's not the end of the world.
No, that's not why Don't mind me, Carlos. There's something I'm thinking about.
Well, while you're thinking, be sure to think about what your doctor said concerning side effects from the immunosuppressants. If you develop a fever higher than 101 degrees...
Carlos, what would you do if you learned your husband had a baby with your best friend and never told you?
Maybe I should just come back a little later in the day, just before you go, okay?
Now see, when this load's finished, you can just put them right in the dryer and start the white load washing.
Mama Mabel, I'm a grown man. I know how to wash clothes.
You'll be surprised, Sonny. I don't think Mo ever will learn how to separate clothes. And anyway, If you're going to live here, I want you to know how to take care of everything.
Yeah, well, when I have to wash clothes, I like doing it by myself. And besides, I'd rather be out looking for Maya. Somebody needs to get her and tell her to get help.
Let's make a deal, you and me. I'll stop bugging you about how to do your laundry, and you stop with that noise about depression. How's that?
You go talk to a doctor. He'll tell you. Depression is it's really like a disease.
See? There you go. Mental illness. Maya is really upset right now, and she's got a right to be. But she ain't crazy.
Having a mental illness does not mean you're crazy.
Nothing will do her more good than having all of us to pray for her.
Look, how can I say this so you'll understand? This is not something somebody just made up. I'm living proof. After somebody explained to me that part of what I've been fighting all my life was depression.
And this was a white person telling you this, right?
Yeah, well, but that's got nothing to do with...
Let me tell you something. He may have been trying to help you, and maybe his heart was in the right place. But he don't understand what it's like to be you or me. He can't. We've always had to be stronger. That's just how it is. And maybe little white girls up in Hollywood or wherever can lay around moaning about, I can't help it because I'm depressed. But it's different for you and me, and it's different for Maya.
Now see, that tells me you just don't understand. I really have learned all about this, and I'm begging you to get the facts from somebody you respect. You ask any doctor. Check it out with, you ask Reverend Higgins about this. Would you listen to him?
Reverend Higgins would tell me that what Maya needs is somebody to pray for her.
Reverend Higgins is gonna tell you that African Americans get mental health problems same as anybody else. And that's what Maya's got. And if she doesn't get help, it can make her life even worse than it is right now.
Tell you what, you and me will go and see him together, and you'll be there when he tells you the truth.
Mama Mabel, you got yourself a deal.
Maya? Look, I'm glad you came to stay here. I am. But tonight Roz is coming home, and I really want everything around here to be perfect. Maya?
I'm listening.
You're laying there with your eyes closed.
I can listen with my eyes closed.
You've been laying on that couch all day. I really could use some help here. Why don't you dust while I finish vacuuming?
Because I hate dusting. Hate it. And anyway, the dust just goes up and then settles right back down where it was. So what's the point?
Uh-huh. So your brilliant plan instead is to lay on the couch for the rest of your life.
Sounds good to me.
Come on now. Get up and get moving.
I can't, Fidelia. I think I'm getting sick. I ache all over and I can't think straight.
Part of that's because you haven't eaten anything all day.
I'm not hungry.
Okay, that's it. I've had enough of this. We're gonna snap you out of this thing.
I just told you.
There is nothing wrong with you that a night out on the town won't cure.
I thought you were all about getting the place ready for Rosalind's big, exciting homecoming.
She's gonna come here and go right to sleep. Trust me on this. I know her too well. And when she's down, you and I will go out. Music, dancing, a few drinks, meet some guys.
A few drinks? Right.
Why not?
In the first place, I'm only 19.
Give me a break. Half the people in the club will be younger than you.
And I've spent my whole life watching alcohol ruin my family. Just knowing my father was an alcoholic, I always figured that
only now you know Sonny is not your father.
Oh. Well, yeah. Hadn't thought about that part.
That's right, so come on! Help me get this place finished, and then tonight, girl, your Aunt Fidelia will take you out to celebrate your independence from having to always be the responsible one.
Yeah.
High time you got to be irresponsible.
Now you better be here again next time to hear what's gonna happen on Body Love.
Dr. Ellis, I'm really getting worried about Maya. She's got a real health problem, but some folks are telling her that things like depression are just a sign that she's weak, or even that she's crazy. And there are some folks that think mental illness is caused by bad things you do. Now, my big sister may get on my nerves sometimes, but I can tell you, she has never done anything to deserve this. You know, some people say the only way to deal with it is to pray about it.
Well, Saul, there's certainly nothing wrong with praying about a problem. There's even scientific evidence that having faith and sustaining spirituality helps people stay healthy. But a mental health problem like depression can happen to anybody, especially when something devastating happens in our lives, like an accident or a prolonged illness or the death of a loved one.
Sounds like you're saying Maya's not being punished for anything she did, and she's not crazy, and she's not weak.
She's not any of those things, Saul. Maya's had something bad happen in her life, and now she's developing a mental illness as a result. It's like getting a cut that develops an infection and needs to be treated. Maya needs expert help in dealing with what's happened to her and with the depression she's developed as a result.
This was Body Love, episode 38, written by the Body Love Writers Group, recorded at Boutwell Studios, Jeff McKee, engineer, and directed by Will York. Featured in the cast were Audrey Quinn, Shalithia Williams, Cheryl Hall, LaWayne Childry, Tina Wilson, Vanessa Anderson, and Rafael Rios, with Dr. Chris Ellis bringing today's health message. Body Love is a project of the University of Alabama at Birmingham School of Public Health, in conjunction with the UAB Department of Theater. Dr. Chris Ellis is medical consultant. Lee Shackelford and Yoko Kawamura are producers. Dr. Connie Kohler is the executive producer. Support for the Body Love Radio Drama Project is provided by a matching grant from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, Princeton, New Jersey, along with the Joseph S. Bruno Charitable Foundation, the Community Foundation of Greater Birmingham, and the Carefree Fund of the Community Foundation of Greater Atlanta. Additional support for this episode was provided by the Alabama State Council on the Arts. Find out more about Body Love on our website, www.bodylove.org.